What's good, everybody? Lovely Soul Empress here, coming to do another daily. Okay, today I want to talk about something that Spirit has been pushing me to talk about. Okay, didn't want to do it, but I feel like Spirit kept pushing me, so I know that it has to be done. Okay, so what's up, Copenhagen? So I figured, because at first I didn't want to do this topic because I feel like certain people are going to have feelings about it. But Spirit said there are people that don't understand. So we're going to discuss some things. Let me make sure my volume is up. There we go. All right. So let's talk about some things. I have been so happy to see so many young people being awakened. Okay, and the thirst for knowledge right now is quite impressive. Quite honestly, it's quite impressive. There were no notifications of this reading. I am not surprised. I am not surprised at all. Okay, but we're gonna talk about a couple things that we need to get into. So, like I was saying, that I'm super happy to see so many young people taking on this awakening. And I think it's super important for the collective. And we are stepping into the age of Aquarius. And so, what's up, Frequency Connects? You did get this notification, which doesn't always happen, right? So I feel like it's hit or miss with the notifications. But what I have been noticing is that there are people who are using this spiritual awakening, this mass awakening, right? And they're trying to insert certain misinformation to confuse those that are awakening and make them feel that I'm trying to word this correctly. Make them feel that the spiritual awakening has something to do with an agenda that is political. Okay? Now, oftentimes the spiritual and the political cross, because what's good, Tammy? A lot of times the spiritual and the political cross because, there is a spiritual war happening, right? But we really have to be mindful. I had said back a few months ago that we had to be careful about what we were intaking. What we were listening to, who we were listening to, what we were watching, right? What's good, Evelyn? So that's what Spirit wants to talk about, okay? So this weekend that had passed, I had seen, I've been doing a lot of research on a lot of different subjects. What's good, Jennifer LaRoe? A lot of different subjects, dealing with, the CERN and the Georgia stones and all these things that have been happening, right? And they're very important. But what I did notice, I'm a little bit older, okay? I've not made a secret about my age. I'm 51. Okay, I got into politics pretty heavily when I was about 18. And I feel like people need to pay attention that people aren't putting in certain misinformation to hijack a message for a particular purpose. Okay. So I was watching someone over the weekend from TikTok, okay? And they had some really great information. What's good through Maddie's eyes? Really great fucking information, okay, about the Georgia Stones and about R.C. Christian, the person who developed the Georgia Stones, right? And this person said, you know, go watch a particular movie. I think it was called Above Majestic, okay? Or Above, I think it was Above Majestic, right? What's good, Lady Soldier? And so, you know, I went to watch the movie. And what I noticed was that in this particular film, they were mixing factual spiritual information. What's good, Lealou? They were mixing factual spiritual information with propaganda. And it really weighed my soul down, because I know that there's a lot of young people who are coming to this spiritual walk and they don't have the historical knowledge to recognize when somebody is putting the thumb on the scales. Okay? So you can go watch that movie if you like. And, you know, like I said, there was a lot of truth in the movie, but there was a lot of also propaganda. Okay? So, that's what Spirit wants us to discuss, and that's what we're going to talk about, because I feel like there are people who are just beginning this journey, whether they're young or old, right? Who are like sponges right now. Think of, you know, when we look at a child, thank you, honey. When we look at a child, you know, we often know, society often knows that under the age of 5, and, you know, a therapist or a psychologist or a doctor can tell you this, that under the age of 5, a child is like a sponge. It can absorb so much information. What's good, Latasha? And that's the best time to teach them things or indoctrinate them, right? So in spiritual community, if you just had your awakening a year or 2 ago, you are basically a spiritual toddler, okay? And you're like a sponge. This is a very good time for you to learn, but you have to know what you're learning and from whom. Okay, so we're going to start there, and I'm going to elaborate as we go, but I want to see what Spirit has to say about this. And then I'm going to talk more about how I came to see this, okay? And how Spirit showed it to me. So that way I knew that it was something that we had to discuss. Okay, because there are people right now who recognize this awakening and they want to hijack it for their own political purposes. Okay, so you got lead. And you see how there's one person who's the face and there's someone else who's standing behind here? Okay, and I feel like this is in spirit. Okay, I feel like this entity here stands behind many people. Okay? It says I am Legion, right? So this entity uses different people. Okay, base chakra, right? And we need to be grounded. We need to be grounded in truth to understand what is happening, okay? Because there are people who are blossoming right now, okay? And it's growing, but we have to make sure that it stays, you know, this is number 20. Remove the 0, it's 2. We're trying to align soulmate energy with the divine. And somebody's trying to throw salt in the game, all right? Here we are manifesting, but there's also as above, so below. Somebody else is manifesting too. And what they're trying to manifest is more power, more power. Not power, more power. This person is already in power. Okay? So let's see what other deck. Let's do the star seed. We haven't done that in a minute. If we could equal out the likes, please, it would be greatly appreciated. Now, it's, you know, at any age, you know, if you don't do the research to check things, you can be led astray. So I don't want you to just think that it's the young people. Okay, we're talking about the length of the spiritual walk. Because as you mature in your spiritual journey, you will understand that discernment goes hand in hand with intuition. Okay, they can't be separated. And as you become more powerful, your discernment will become stronger. Anything else from this deck, Spirit? Thank you. At the bottom of the deck, I remember Soul Plan, the fated life versus the destiny life, okay? And I feel like we are trying to head towards our destiny, okay? But people are trying to hijack this because they've been putting plans in line for a very long time, especially this entity. This entity keeps coming through and using people, right? And and I feel like what Spirit is saying here is that if you listen well, what's good, Nelson? If you listen well, you will feel that certain things don't register. Be careful what you share, right? Because you need to process entirely a message before you share it, because, you know, now it's like you share something instantly, it's on a platform, then 20 other people share it. And it may not be the truth, okay? Discernment, research, checking in with your chakras. Ask your ancestors if something is true. Ask them for a sign, because I feel like a lot of shit is going on right now, and there are people who are trying to use the newly awakened for their own benefits, okay? So we have lifting the veil here, and this is what we have undertaken, questioning everything. Anything unaligned must go, right? And in this time when we're trying to break down this system and see through the veil, right, of what has been hidden, you know, it gives us a certain amount of disbelief in an entire system, right? And there's different schools of thought. Do we have to break the whole system? Do we throw the baby out with the bathwater? Do we keep certain pieces? Do we rebuild, right? And we may not all be on the same fucking page with that. And that's all right, because this is just started and we need to calibrate to the all, right? To the one, right? To the 144, the higher consciousness, right? Now you got big picture thinking. And right now, for the people who are just starting this, they may be getting a glimpse at something they've never seen, right? Seeing shit from a different perspective. It says Pleiades energy, visionary, inspired ideas, right? Cracked open and seeing things in a completely different veil, in a different light. But remember that there are people in power that have been planning. They've had a very large head start, okay? And you know, they have more tools than we do, because they've been ahead of the game. They went around the world and stole knowledge, right? So they're not going to easily give up this need or desire for control. So you have to understand that wherever they can inject poison into the movement, they will. Okay, because it's the biggest threat. It's the biggest threat. All right. And let me tell you something. I just want to say, right? I don't have a dog in the fight as far as like Democrat or Republican, and I don't care in what country you are. You basically have, you know, two opposing sides, sometimes more, right? I feel like we need to base things, because you know, and I'm talking about America for a minute. Is the system broken? Absolutely. I'm not here to debate you that the system works, or I'm not saying that, okay? But I'm asking you to pay attention to what is being inserted into our spiritual conversations. Okay? Because I felt like that movie was doing that. Okay? And it's not the first time. I've had these messages from spirit before. But I feel like we're getting to a tipping point where it's starting to become part of the mainstream spiritual message, and it's wrong. Okay, I gotta just flat out say it. And I may lose some people because of this, but that's all right, because Spirit's telling me to do this. All right. So you got, your life is a canvas, artist, manifestation, creative accountability, right? So here we are trying to become more responsible for our own outcomes, right? Taking our power back, right? Being a sovereign being, and we're learning how to do this. We're recognizing that we are all crystalline beings, and yet we're all part of the one, and we're all God, okay? Or the God particle. We are the universe. We are, right? Jump in, it says here. Andromedan energy, adventure, say yes to change. And we're so hungry for this change that it could be easily, because we want change so badly, we have to be careful that people aren't wearing masks to take over an agenda. Okay? So let's get a Mystic Martian. So, a large part of this movie was about, the Georgia Stones. And like I said, who built them, why they built them, and all that was going on with that. And I was completely enthralled in the beginning of the film. Okay? I really was. Very good information. But then they got to a particular part. And when they got to this particular part, they started talking about DT. They started talking about DT and basically trying to make this DT to be part of this mission. And let me tell you, could this person be part of the catalyst? Yes. Is this person part of the ascension? No. And this is the fucking problem. Okay? This is the problem, and it's a big problem. Okay? You may not think so right now, but it definitely is a big problem. All right? Because there are young, impressionable minds, whether they're 50 or 17, right, who are new to this walk and can be misled. And for us that have been the older ones who have been on this walk longer, We can't be silent. We can't. We can't be silent. Okay? And that may be true. Copenhagen writes, at one point, I got the thought that the earth is designed to develop souls, which is why evil continues. And yes, to a certain extent, because, you know, we have to go through difficult situations so that when we have towers, right? Usually large downloads come right after a tower. So it's like cracking open the chrysalis. So you're right about that, right? But there has to be an equal balance. And there are people right now, just as hard as the spiritual community is trying to do all this shadow work so that they can, you know, push us closer to the all consciousness, right? There are people who are trying to stop that. Okay, so you got crop circles, messages, curiosity, and signs, right? And we are searching, you know, the internet. You know, during the virus, you know, people were mandated to stay home, and it feels like this was the beginning. What's good, L Cube? This was the beginning of an awakening, okay? And then with all the time that we had on our hands, we really had the time to explore them because people were in their homes and they were needing interaction. This is how we all started reaching out to each other on the internet, okay? Which was a good thing, right? Now you got outer burrows here. And it says infinity and eternal and past life, right? What's good, Crystal Jade? Right? So with this affinity, eternal, and past life, something is being reborn, okay, within us, okay? Something is being reborn within us. And this is, you know, I feel like with the solar flares, the knowledge that has been locked in our second DNA strand is being awakened, right? And you see the snake is eating its tail. And there may be an entity, particular entity, that understands that we're entering like a final battle, okay? And then you have the pentagram here in reverse. Harmony, protection, idealism. And this is what they don't want, right? For us to try to create like a utopian society. The name of the movie was Above Majestic or something like that, and I found it on Tubi. Okay? And then you have here Lyrians, okay? Strength, courage, and bravery. And this is what it's gonna take, okay? It's gonna take strength, yes. It's gonna take courage for people who, like me, let's say, who can see through it, okay? Maybe have longer time in the spiritual community. I told you guys I started when I was 13, right? And so, you know, I feel like we're gonna have to be brave and speak up when we see that our message is being hijacked by people who are trying to use this for their political gains. And it quite pisses me the fuck off, I'm gonna be honest. Okay, so let's get a Ganesh. Everybody's in here today, right? Yeah, because this is fucking important. You know, we've worked hard on our spiritual ascension, and we don't need people trying to mislead those that are trying so hard to achieve enlightenment, right? Spirit, can you show me? Anything else from this deck? At the bottom of the deck is the positive outlook. Oh, you love it here. I love it here with you guys too. Okay, so the positive outlook, this is what, as a collective, as humanity, this is what we're trying to attain, right? It's like all of a sudden we woke up and we realized that we had more power over our present situation than we first thought, okay? That's right. So you have here, be candid. And we're coming into this community where we're openly sharing information with each other and assisting each other to get this cracking open, right? And then you have steadfastness, right? And I feel like there are other people who I feel like they knew what's good, Miss Lotus Wisdom. I feel like they knew that this awakening was going to happen and the signs were written on the wall, right? But it's happening now very fast and they're kind of desperate to make their plan come to fruition. And it's not just our awakening, okay? Oh, through Maddie's eyes, we have been guided to be your students. Oh, I appreciate you guys so much, okay? And I have been guided, to share sometimes some very intimate things with you guys so that you can understand the messages. So I do want you guys to know that the love over here is real, okay? So this steadfastness, I feel like there are people who want to push through their agenda. And it wasn't just our spiritual awakening. There were other things that foiled their plan. And it's like a crescendo. Everything's coming together. But if we're not careful right now, there's going to be a large segment of the spiritual community that's going to be misled down the wrong path, okay? Because what these people are trying to do is they want to keep the prosperity, okay? And they don't want you to achieve it, okay? This actually came in reverse when it hit the ground, all right? So I feel like, they want the prosperity. They've had the prosperity and they want to keep it like that, okay? Trying to go slowly, okay? Now, before I pull another deck, I want to say that this movie was talking about, in the beginning, was talking about, the Georgia Stones, and it was talking about this RC Christian and how he was basically a front man for certain organizations. And it's funny because in the movie they basically mention all the people that I was been talking about with you guys, right? But they took it a step further and I felt like this information was accurate. They mentioned the Knights of Templar, they mentioned the Masons, and they mentioned another group. I've heard of it before, Rose Crucifixion or something. Rose, I have trouble saying their name, okay? But basically the premise was that there are 12 individuals, okay? The majestic 12 that are in high places and high power, and they may not hold political seats, but they are the people who run this shit. Okay, I'm gonna leave that part there, okay? And so it's two parts to this. There is somebody in particular who is an enemy of the majestic 12. And the majestic 12 has been basically imprisoning or enslaving us for fucking hundreds of years. But this other person that is basically an enemy of the majestic 12, correct, go look that up and what that means, okay? But this person that is an enemy of the majestic 12. The only reason why this person is an enemy of the majestic 12 is because they feel that this person is not part of their plan, right? But this person is equally as evil. Yeah, I fucking said it. Equally as evil. And this person specializes in propaganda. So while they're trying to hurt this majestic 12, it's not to be on our side. Okay? And that's the part that the spiritual community doesn't understand, because they're not even recognizing that this person is behind this. Because this person is dropping hidden knowledge that is actually fucking true and mixing it with the propaganda so that they could get a two-pronged thing. They get to hurt a majestic 12, and they also try to take over a movement to further their own agenda, which is equally as toxic. Spirit, can you show me, what do we need from this deck before we get into it? And our ancestors, I feel like they're pushing us. Look at this shit. They're pushing us to pay the fuck attention. Look at this. Past life, present power. It's the same fucking people from the past to now. The many spiritual faces of you, right? But it's also talking about the many spiritual faces of them. Right? So it's like two sides that are fighting each other. And this is not like Democrat and Republican, right? Even though that comes into play, these are tools that are used, right? But it's not one group against the other, right? It's more like two fighting factions that both want to abuse the collective that is in between them. You got Chariot of Ascension, spiritual work of the higher initiate. And this is what we're doing right now. And I feel like what Spirit is saying is that the ones that have more time in need to start speaking out in a divine sisterhood, okay, community of the spiritual sisters and brothers of light, and start fucking leading. Start leading. Because, you know, it would be a tragedy if we've done all of this work for these people to hijack this movement. It's not the first time, okay? It happened in the 60s. It got hijacked before. We gotta be, you know, woke. Woke as fuck. Okay, you got ancient power mysteries. Hear the rattle of Isis playing, okay? And we've been saying something's not right. Something's not right. What's not right is that they're trying to inject poison into the movement. Okay? They're trying to inject poison into the movement, and they're not doing it through the long-standing leaders. No, they're doing it through the young, and some of them are physically young, but it's like the young-minded in their spiritual walk, okay? They will, okay? It doesn't matter if they don't eat them. The point is that you make the offering and something will eat them, okay? All right, so you also got life restored, priestess of the phoenix. And here we are trying to restore our natural frequency, our natural order, okay, of what should have been, okay? And then you have the knot of Isis here, energetic stabilization with the buckle of the beloved, right? And let me tell you something. A lot of these people stole ancient knowledge a long time ago. Okay, and they're trying to lock us out of our own history. And they're hoping that our lack of understanding gives them an opening to hijack this message and use it for nefarious purposes. Okay, so we're gonna get some. I'm gonna actually take this. I knew I was gonna drop that shit. This masculine archetype to see if we can find out more. I feel like I know one of the main players. The others, you know, is a whole question of who these people are. We all may have opinions, but I feel like, you know, it's playing out before our eyes, and we're not really recognizing what's happening. Okay. Spirit, show me some of these people, please. Show me some of these people, please. Anything else? Spirit, I see you already. I see what you're doing. Soldier. This person wants to grow their army. They have a large army. They're actually at war right now, right? They have a large army, but they also like to have a different type of army, an army that is unseen. And they like to put them strategically in different places to spread propaganda. Okay? And then this is us, the seeker. I feel like this person finds people who have higher knowledge and asks them how to embed it. Now, this person comes from a nation, not here, that also has been basically colonizing the world just for a different way. And actually, this person that leads this country that I'm discussing, they have one of the biggest bodies of land mass than most other countries. I'll just say that. And so this person uses the knowledge that they have taken from different places. And then this person also uses mind techniques as part, because this person was a leader of an organization, right? And they use this so they can have, what do they call them? Remote viewers. But they also use this and ask them, how can they use this to disseminate this propaganda so that they can cause internal splits. So in the last, this person has been up to this for hundreds of years. Okay, their predecessors were doing the same thing. But this person really went hard in the paint in the last 6 years. In the last 6 years, maybe longer. Okay, now, strategists. Yes, we're getting there. The strategist coming out crossed here. This person has a particular strategy that keeps things behind the curtain. Well, behind the wall, right? And they have been using pieces. They actually found a way to put a head here. An orange head, if you're following. This person, this orange head was this person's puppet. And it was evident because the orange head was fucking scared of this person because this person had dirt on them. Okay, this person is a charlatan. And he also has some, I don't know why Spirit just said this, blood ties. This person has blood ties. I don't know how many generations or what, to someone EM. This is something about a line that has been distributed, a DNA line that has been distributed. This is 2 DNA lines. It's like one DNA line, the Majestic 12. They're all fucking related too, right? And then you got these people over here. But this person is seen as the anti, right? The anti to their agenda, but it's not really anti. It's like the same agenda, but one wants to extract wealth, and the other one has an agenda that would change what we look like. Okay, and then you got athlete cross. This person has an athlete right now. An athlete as a hostage. Are y'all getting it? Let me see some name drops. Let me see. So what this person is injecting into the spiritual community is to try to bring back, yes, is trying to bring back this orange head. Wants to revive this orange head. So they're using spiritual messages to make the young spiritual people believe that this orange head was the answer to their problems. That this person was going to break the system and free them. But really, the orange head represents this charlatan. Yep. This charlatan who owns this orange head is using disinformation because they need the orange head or someone the orange head or someone who believes like the orange head, who will be so morally corrupt and morally bankrupt that it gives this person the ability to finish their agenda. Now, this person's agenda, what they're using, some of this I ain't going to be able to say in code. What they're using is the slaughter of a large group of people that was done in the 20s, right? And they're trying to say that they were the agents of fighting that, and that now they're trying to fight that again. But really, they're that too. Okay? So I'm going to say this one word, Nazis, okay? So this person is throwing that word around. Yep. This and this person's agenda is that person's agenda. Now, I'm not saying that the Majestic 12's mission ain't that too, right? A little bit of both, right? But what I'm saying to you is that now that we're awakening and we have people realizing that we're trying to bring down this system that has been, that this patriarchy has, taken command and won't listen to its people. This person sees an opportunity here. Because for those of you that don't know, the orange head's idol is H, is that person. That's his idol. On his nightstand, that was what was there. Literally, that was reported years ago. Okay? So this person's idol is that person who did that to all those people. Okay? And the orange head and this person, they both worship that person. They both do. Right? Now, this other group, they're just as dirty. Right? But what I'm trying to get you to see, and like I said in the beginning, I'm not trying to be on a particular political side, because, you could check any box on a piece of paper. Saying that you affiliate yourself with X, Y, and Z, but at the end of the day, it has to do with your moral code, right? So let's just say that there are certain people who in office who are tools, okay? There are certain people that are tools of the system. They're used by the system. That doesn't make them innocent, right? But they're just figureheads. And that might be our present situation. But then there's others, like the orange one, who is a henchman. Who is a henchman for an agenda of destruction. Back to this entity. That person takes certain leaders who are thirsty for either power, recognition, political strength, right? And uses them for this agenda that in our present day would have been represented by the 20s, but they keep doing this shit. And the majestic group that I was talking about, they're not necessarily in line. I'm not saying that they don't have a similar agenda, but they kind of, where they part ways is that, let's say that group doesn't want to doesn't want to share resources, but they want to use groups to get things done. And then this person just wants to slaughter them and have more ground, have more territory. And there's a difference. Okay? And I'm not saying that we want to be, on either side of that. I feel like we need to break free from both. And I feel like that's what this spiritual awakening is about. But this motherfucker here is throwing salt in the game to confuse these young people, because they don't have enough time in the game to recognize that this orange head was really a figurehead to reinstall an old program of the 20s, and then this time put melanated people in those seats or in those chambers. And then they'll go down the line to other groups, but this person shares the same ideas as this H person. And he's fucking dangerous. He's hella dangerous for multiple reasons. Okay, so when you're watching these TikToks and these things, ask yourself, because I said they're mixing truth with propaganda. So it's like, you know, if it's a 2-minute video, right? The first minute and 30 seconds is all truth, and then the last 30 seconds is trying to make this DT or the ideas of DT to be the savior or the answer, and it's not, because, you know, people often look back and they forget what they were experiencing in the moment, right? So how can this person be the freedom bringer when their whole agenda was to take people's health care and strip them of finance? Like, really, like, how can, like, discernment? This person was stealing people's children and putting them in cages. And how could you think that that person is the answer? Because this other person has a huge campaign of disinformation. All right, so let's pull some tarot here. Okay, we got a deck out here. You got the Four of Wands, right? While we were all in our homes, this person manifested confusion with the Seven of Cups while we weren't looking with the Two of Swords, okay? To block what? You know, the Queen of Swords. And this person here, this Queen of Swords, she lives in a big castle. Okay? And part of that majestic 12 has something to do with her line. I hope y'all are understanding me. I think y'all been with me long enough to know what the fuck I'm talking about, okay? So it's like one patriarchy against another patriarchy, and they both suck. Three of Wands. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Right? So you got the Three of Wands here. Future thinking, future plans. Tea, anyone? See the boat? Right? So, like I said, they know that some things are happening. Look at this whirlpool or this it feels like this is a portal, right? You know, just like Atlantis, right? But I feel like this portal is like a system being removed, and they know that, you know, time is coming, right? So they're trying to put their ducks in a row and keep what they got going on, but there's some choices to be made, and who do you side with or who don't you side with? Right? And there's alliances. You know, there's alliances, right? And sometimes they work with other people, but they have a core. That doesn't change, 12, right? And then you have the King of Cups here coming out crossed. Look at them with the white wigs, right? That's been happening for, you know, a very long time too, right? So now you have the King of Cups. And I believe that in there, and that place, they still wear them when they deal with the law. Right? If you guys are understanding what I'm saying, right? So there's a King of Cups. This person tries to act like they're very proud. This person, this VP, right? This person tries to act like they're very proud, but they're very egotistical. They have a lot of hidden emotions and agendas. Okay? They're people. Their people aren't faring so well because this person doesn't give a fuck about his people. King of Swords, okay? And they have all types of anxiety and sleepless nights because everything they do is under a microscope, even worse than here, right? Knight of Pentacles, they have absolutely no freedom. And then you have the Knight of Pentacles. These are people here who are keeping a system going that is very methodical and very well planned out, right? And they keep us fighting like cats and dogs because that keeps the system running, right? But it's really run by that bitch, right? And she, you know, she comes from a line of people that have been doing this shit for a minute, right? And then you got the Nine of Pentacles, right? And they get to be autonomous from them as long as they don't stop working for the agenda and keeping the coins come in. Because this person here, she has a seat, but there's no need for her power anymore, right? But except that she has some, let's call them contracts, hidden contracts that these people have to give a cut of everything that they do to her. Okay, now you got the Nine of Cups here. Spirit, why? So the Nine of Cups is somebody that was married to this woman's son. And she was starting to go against this group. Five of Swords, they had to remove her, right? Because she was going to become more beloved than this other lady. Right? And now you have the Tower here. And situations are devolving now, okay? Now Spirit's talking about right now. And the deceptions are being uncovered because the wheel is about to turn. But this person feels like, it almost looks like him, you know, it's already coming out, right? Everything's coming out, right? So I could use this moment to hurt these people who won't respect me and let me sit at the table, the G7, right? And they won't allow me to sit at this table. So and they're not going to allow me to grab more land because they have too many. Because there's this one organization that works as a team. Okay, there's this one organization that works as a team. I'm trying to remember their name. Give me a second. It's like right on the tip of my tongue. It's a group of nations. Yep. It's a group of nations that was started in after World War II to make sure that that never happened again. Forget the name of the organization. I don't know why I'm getting a blank right now. But anyway, this person doesn't want that organization to grow anymore because it puts him at risk, right? So he figures if there's already happening a tower, thank you, NATO. If there's already happening a tower, right? And if the truth is going to come out, then why don't we put out some of the knowledge that we collected over the years, whether it was by listening devices or through conquering, right? Because they conquered plenty of places too. And then we can mix that in with the spiritual message, and maybe Rather than these people becoming free in their spirituality, they'll be indoctrinated to our message. And before they wake up, it'll be too late. We'll already have infiltrated. So we'll get to kill two birds with one stone. We'll break the patriarchy, but we'll replace it with our own. And that new patriarchy will look worse than the present one, because that new patriarchy wants eugenics. Queen of Wands. Where's the deck? So as part of the spiritual community, I feel like our job is to be like this Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands has many suitors. She gets a lot of attention. Okay? And I feel like we need to be extracting what we can and getting all the knowledge we can, but yet not buying into their perspectives, because the hangman is looking at things from a different perspective. So looking at it reverse, what did Jay-Z said? Believe half of what you see and none of what you heard. Right? There also could be a feminine, and I said this before, that comes to power. And people might feel like, oh, okay, well, you know what? She's new. She don't have nothing to do with that, but she's, you know, running the gallows. So we need to be cautious. We can't just be... I'm so happy that so many people are awakening. And I'm so happy that this... that we have the ability to share information like never before. But now it's time to use discernment. Because here's spirit pouring into the divine knowledge and love for this awakening. And we're healing, right? And then what happens? The Five of Wands. And then all these people, these masculines, they feel like, wait a minute, we got to do something. But they're fighting against each other because each of them has an agenda that wouldn't work out for us. So none of them are to be trusted. But there's one particular side that would be most detrimental. And that's the thing, that people are lumping them all together like they're equal, and they're not. Okay, and then you got the Justice card here. Look at her sitting there. She's working with both sides, you feel me? Right? And they won't even say that she's really not like really there, because ding dong, the witch is dead, right? Because there's going to be some shit that follows that, and that might be the final breaking of the contract, and that's why they're going so hard in the paint. Right? Eight of Swords crossed, right? And what if this mental spell, this hypnotism that's been done on the collective they're about to break free with the Eight of Swords and go into their future. We cannot allow that. All right, let's get the masculines. Let's get the masculines to like, spirit, can I have the word? Indulge. overindulge, so they'll be numb and they won't know what the truth is. Okay, I also feel like the predecessor doesn't want to take the job, because the predecessor knows that you have to drink something. And that's what that person doesn't want to do. Because that's going to be drinking something as a sacrifice, if you follow me, to a particular entity. Not this same entity, a different one. I hope you guys are getting this. Okay? Now, and if you're right, someone said that the grandson with the H could be the one that takes over. I feel like if that happens, it's because the system broke. The system broke, and it's going to be a new day. Okay, I feel like that person that you're discussing does not want to be part of this situation. They want to tell. I'm going to tell. And they got a gripe, right? They got a gripe because of their mother. Okay, so they're making it about why this person left had to be because of their spouse, but it was really because they were going to do the same thing to their spouse that they did to their mother. And may still happen. And may still happen. Allegedly, right? Unexpected income. So for us to take back what's ours, we're going to have to be very courageous. Right? We're going to have to be very courageous. We're going to have to stop being of service. Indentured servitude, right? And then you got concern. That's what got them all fucked up. They see the writing on the wall. Right? Pride comes out cross. And grief, right? They can't beg for people to come back like, baby, come back. You could blame it all on me, right? They can't take responsibility because they will be locked the fuck up, right? But they're going through hella grief, right? Can't admit all that shit, right? Remember, what was his name? Gaddafi, right? I think it was Gaddafi, right? And his people tore him literally to shreds, right? So there's people out there that they can't say, even if they wanted to, because it would go all the way fucking left, right? Now here's great fortune. This is what's at stake. Perpetuity, in perpetuity. Great fortune in perpetuity, Spirit saying. Right? So there's certain alliances that have been made. I understand that a friend in my life is for a reason, but none of them are friends, right? Only that 12 people. Right? And then you got, because they're all cogs, right? Like chess pieces, right? And then the privileged lady, Spirit. And her experiment worked very well. They amassed a huge amount. By the way, y'all saw there was mad fires in Rome last week. What was that about? They burning shit up, right? But, this experiment that worked for hundreds of years is about to fail. And this is imminent. So this other person, this charlatan, feels like this might be an opportune time, since one system is about to break. Why let these people have their freedom when we could just come in, confuse them, hijack the message, and they could be our indentured servitude? Except that this motherfucker is ruthless. Okay? So it ain't gonna be like it was. Right? And I feel like if that were to come to power, we all would be like asking for the old person back. And that's crazy to think of. Like, you understand? And then this is us. This is what we want. Peace. Neither one of those sides is going to give us that. Okay? Trust me when I'm telling you. The spirits, they've been pushing me to do this reading. I really didn't want to. I'll be honest with you. I really didn't want to. Okay? Because I could attract unnecessary attention that would be mixed with envy, but other things as well, anger, right? And doubt. Okay? I realize that I release the need to know all the answers. They're trying to give us so much doubt, okay, that we run into the hands. It's like you have a captor and a murderer. A captor and a murderer. You fucking understand? So it's like, let's say, you know, the conditions in a prison could kill you over time. Slowly. And over here is cannibals. Understand? Understand? Pay attention to the messages. And then when you watch these things, go on TikTok, you know, like when you're on TikTok and you get a message, or you're on Facebook, because, you know, there was a whole lawsuit, right, about how this very person was using Facebook to disseminate mad propaganda. Well, he has spread out to other platforms, and now he has started, because before he was using politics, then he switched to color, so he was doing politics and color, right? And now he's doing politics, color, and spirituality. And then he also has his hand in the politics, color, spirituality, and then the women's Roe versus Wade. Because he's going to use any topic that he knows confuses people. That's his key to the propaganda. He's been doing this since forever. They don't even really they have mock elections there. He never loses. Pay attention. Forgiving and learning. You deserve love, unrequited love, reconciliation. Let's talk about it. Forgiving and learning. As you release and heal the past, you experience more present moments. This is what we're trying to do. We're trying to understand what has happened so that we can move forward in the frequency of love. Okay, we know we have to weather out the storm, that there's a lot to do before we get back there. So we're releasing and letting go. We're doing all of that, right? Trying to get back to our inner child, right? To our gifts when they were, you know, very strong, right? Trying to heal the divine masculine. This is all things that we're trying to take on, okay? We've done it through social media, right? Okay, it's helping us remember our past life, right? And then you deserve love, spirit. Why? Because we recognize that, right? And we're ready now. We're open for love, right? Our past memories is coming back, right? But this person also wants to bring somebody back because they had an agenda that they were putting in place that was going to bring down these 12 people, and they were going to try to install themselves as the only world power with other people who think like them. Okay? And then retreat. But what happened was that we threw somebody out of the big house. And this caused them to have to take an action of war somewhere else because they recognize that the time is fleeting for a particular agenda that they wanted, and they have to, it's now or never, right? So they went and did it anyway, and then they got opposition, right? This person went and did it anyway and invaded somewhere, and this person is like a pariah right now, right? And we've always had differences with these people, right? So what they're trying to get is for the spiritual community and for all the divisions of communities, whether it was religion, color, masculine and feminine, spirituality, to cause a divide and have some of those people fall into the fold with him. But if we do that, we're going to find out right afterwards that it's unrequited love. Okay, and then it's going to be, clarity, right? Because we're not seeing clearly right now, but it will be fucking clear then that it's unrequited love, that this person does not love us, right? And then you're going to realize that you were not listening. You know, somebody had a call to try to fuck it up, right? That you were not listening there, okay? That you were not hearing your intuition, that they were injecting propaganda to the spiritual message to hijack it, right? And then reconcile, right? Reconciliation. Why, Spirit? Right? This is what we're trying to do, reconcile to what we were before all of this began. Right? But they're using sigils and rituals and spells to control the time because maybe they could stop us. Everything you see, like I said, a lot of this stuff that was in this particular thing was true, but it was mixed with a lot of propaganda. And we have to use discernment because these people are going to try to stop us no matter what. All right. So that's pretty much what I have for you guys. And I don't know how this is going to fly, but Spirit said I had to put the message out there. So that's what I did. All right. So I'd just like to say thank you to all my returning subscribers for coming through and spending a little time with me. And if you're a new viewer and you felt I resonated with you, please like, subscribe, and comment, as I'd love to have you as part of the Lovely Soul family. I'm wishing you all light and love and blessings on blessings. Namaste. Bye.